So we thought anyway, for not too much longer. So my first thought was, damn, Glover's really gonna have to wait now because if they're gonna rematch this for the title again, and then Glover's gonna have to face the winner, then maybe he could get it back before Yuri comes back. But Dana throws in. Usually he doesn't. He like to discuss future fights right after on fight night, especially. But he was so annoyed and pissed off about that last fight and how these guys kind of didn't go for the finish at the end, the last couple rounds, and he basically awarded or announced Glover Teixeira versus Jamal Hill next month in Brazil. And Jamal Hill, if you know those who follow, Jamal Hill was supposed to fight Anthony Smith on that card, which personally I was looking forward to that fight. I like Jamal Hill. Anthony Smith kind of been bugging me lately. You know what I mean? I don't always like to root for fights like that, but I kind of wanted to see Jamal Hill hopefully knock out Anthony Smith, but that's on hold now. Now Jamal Hill's stepping up and he's getting a title shot. I think he was ranked sixth, fifth or sixth in the division right now, so he's jumping up quite a bit. But that fight's gonna be fireworks. But Anthony Smith, I guess, found out about it during the broadcast, and I haven't totally seen his whole reaction on that. I just read the headline on that. But I guess, I mean, how would you feel if like you think you're fighting next month against, Jamal Hill trying to get back on track or whatever he thinks going to happen with it? And I was saying, well, you just got stepped over and you got shoved out of the way, and now Jamal Hill's going for that title. It wouldn't make sense for Anthony Smith. I think he's 4-4 in his last 8, lost his last one with an injury to his leg. So I don't think it would make sense for him to get that title shot. So, but he got announced that he's already in training camp, everything for Jamal Hill. So unless they find him another opponent, I don't know if he'll do that short notice thing or not. He might just be hung out to dry. I'm sure the UFC will take care of him paying for this inconvenience. But that fight is fireworks, though. Jamal Hill and Glover, because Glover I think definitely has more ways to win. Like he could, because he has good wrestling, he has Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, he has really good boxing, tight, clean boxing, good defense and all that. But Jamal Hill has some wicked one punch knockout power, one punch knock you dead power, and that's what I'm gonna be excited for. Because I don't even know. I like Jamal Hill. I do like his fighting style. I like everything what he brings. Also, of course, Glover's a legend. So I mean, that's just an interesting fight. I wouldn't know who to root for. I just probably watch this one, but early prediction, man. I mean, because like I said, Glover has more ways to win, but I feel like Jamal Hill has the more one punch KO power that can end the fight at any time. And he's a long fighter. He's got long arms. He got devastating power, and he usually does find that chin on pretty much all his opponents. And I don't know how Glover's chin is still. I mean, 44 years old or so. I mean, he did a great job against Yuri. He did get caught a couple times. He also caught Yuri. So, I mean, he definitely can be in that firefight. And he does have probably a little bit tighter defense as far as the boxing range. But that fight is going to be fireworks. I mean, Jamal Hill is dangerous. I mean, he can knock out anybody, I think, at 205. He has some serious power. And I'll just watch as a fan on that one. For now, I can't really make a prediction. Early prediction, I'm almost leaning Jamal Hill just because of that. But you can't take away from Glover's experience and inside the octagon and just his well-roundedness. He's just good everywhere, So I mean, you can't really take away from that either. Jamal Hill, we haven't seen him in too many like compromised positions where he hasn't looked good, but he's able to keep the fight standing where he wants it a lot in the stand-up game. So that one is pretty interesting right there. Tell me what you guys think. Who takes that one? Glover, Jamal Hill, the young hungry lion, or the old vet trying to get his title back? I mean, it's gonna be fireworks in Brazil. That's all I can say. That's another thing. It'll be kind of a home fight for Glover. Home fight advantage, home cage advantage, I guess you could say. But a lot of times that seems to put a lot more pressure, on guys. I don't know if Glover, he's been around the game for a long time, so I don't know how much pressure he'll be feeling or how he would react to that, or if that would actually affect him at all. But let me know what you guys think. Early prediction for me is, I don't know, let's just have fun and watch that one. I don't know. I like Jamal Hill. I'm leaning his way a little just because he can turn it into a firefight. and he might be able to land something big on Glover. And if he land, I think if Jamal Hill gets anyone hurt, man, they could be in some serious trouble, and they might not be getting out of that. But Glover, like I said, he's a craft. He has wrestling, jiu-jitsu. So if he does get maybe he can clinch up and take it to the ground and just stall it out, recover, and who knows, maybe work for a submission on the ground. That fight is interesting. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. If that's even going to be finalized, or if that was just Dana, being emotional and pissed off and just going for it at that time, announcing it, even though he hasn't really put in a lot of thought about it. But it kind of does make sense. I mean, why run this one back if you weren't happy with the outcome of the fight? Why run it back? If they want to run it back again, they could do it, but it don't have to be for a title. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Exciting stuff. But yeah. Oh, back to Ilya Topuria and Bryce Mitchell. I was looking forward to this fight. Bryce Mitchell, to me, he has that Jeffrey Dahmer 1,000-yard stare. Just like, hey, do you want to watch a movie? Type, just a death stare. Just looks you dead in the eye. He was looking like that, and he definitely has a certain intensity about him. But Ilya Topuria, man, that guy is so talented. We seen what he did to Ryan Hall. When Ryan Hall tried to leg lock him, he finished him, destroyed him. And he is just so damn explosive. At 145, this guy, the sky's the limit. I mean, I mean, I was so impressed with this guy. Like, he put it on Bryce Mitchell from the opening. Just totally explosive, power on the ground everywhere. We thought Bryce Mitchell was going to have the advantage somewhat, maybe at least where the fight takes place because of his wrestling or his takedown ability. But Ilya Topuria pretty much dominated, destroyed, devastated, everything you could think of with that. I mean, he looked so good in that fight. He looked like he outclassed Bryce Mitchell. I mean, maybe Bryce Mitchell took him a little lighter. I don't know. Maybe just Ilya is really that good right now, and just on top of his game, like say explosive as shit, great hands, power in both hands, awesome jiu-jitsu. He's calling out for Brian Ortega next. He wants all the grapplers in the division, which nobody ever wants to fight the grapplers. He wants all the grapplers. So I mean that'd be an interesting fight. There's a lot of good matchups right there at 145. And Topuria is definitely on his way up. He's on the rise. I mean, he made it look easy out there. And Bryce Mitchell was a tough SOB. He goes out there and brings it every time. He's got that farmer strength, that Arkansas type strength. And he was just overmatched. He was outmatched by Ilya Topuria. I mean, that guy he's a beast. He's a beast everywhere. I mean, there's a couple other fights I would like to talk about. I did watch most of this card, all finishes, so I definitely sat through pretty much 90% of it. I'm trying to think if there's a fight I did miss, but I have to go back and look at the card and talk about it a little better. Billy Quarantillo, he fought Alex Hernandez. Well, Alex Hernandez's first fight at 145, and I thought Alex looked good, a little sucked up. Just a little. Obviously, he looks a little smaller. Maybe that's the right way for him. Maybe not because he was a little thicker at lightweight. But I mean, Quarantino, that guy he just seems to get better as the fight goes on, and his volume and he could take a punch and he could just keep coming and keep going, and no matter what you're bringing, he's still right there. That because I think he got cut open. I think both guys got busted. And Alex Hernandez, it just seems like whenever he meets that serious opposition, he might fold later. I mean, I don't even want to talk bad like that because he did look good up until the point, of where he didn't until he started getting taken over by Billy. He came out strong, but also with this weight cut, everyone thinks they want to go down or they're going to be stronger. I think it just zaps I think a lot of it is they zap a lot of their cardio and ability to take punishment down there because I feel like you need that extra weight, even if you are a little undersized for that division. It might be better than going lower and draining yourself, draining your brain, draining your body. I just don't feel like you're as strong or could take as much damage. And I think it showed a little bit in this fight. Like Billy Q, he's right there. He's a big dude. He's tall. He's lanky for that division and definitely had the reach. And actually, no, I think Alex actually he has a long arm, so I think he had a slight reach advantage in that fight. But just saying, just the overall, just limbs, length, legs, limb, all that. I mean, I think Billy Q had that advantage, and just the volume, and he don't throw everything on every shot. He's not doing all power. And that was a good fight right there. There was a bunch of good fights there was a plenty of good fights on this. Darren Till, he also fought. He fought against Duplessis, who it was a good fight. I mean, Till, like I thought he was done in that first round. He got kind of lit up on the feet a bit, and then got taken down, and he was just getting like served like a bunch of punches, some behind the head maybe here and there, but Duplessis was just emptying the tank on. So we thought, so Till actually got, looked a little better in the second round, had a bit of a comeback, but then ultimately Duplessis was able to finish him in the third round with a submission and just able to land bigger stuff on him and just I don't know, just more explosive, faster. I don't know what's up with Till, what's up with his future. He hasn't been looking good for a while. I mean, it was a Wonder Boy fight. That was a close fight. Could have went either way. He got that decision, but I can't remember his last win. Other than that, it's hasn't been looking good. I don't know if he's on his way out or, me and my son were even joking. Does he even train with Kamzat or they just party together and hang out? Because, I mean, it looked like he still didn't really know what to do on the ground a lot, and yeah, it's tough because Till was a fan favorite for a while. He had a lot of hype on him. Was a up and coming prospect. It was ever since Woodley took him out, and then really Masvidal too. When Masvidal knocked him out, I think that just kind of I mean, I don't know if it's just a confidence thing or what happened, but it seems like he hasn't been the same ever since, and who knows if he ever will be. So sucks for Darren Till. Like Duplessis looks good. He's a beast. He's a huge guy at that weight. Maybe 185 isn't for Darren Till. Maybe he does need to strict on his diet and go down to 170, and maybe he could be better there. We'll see. But yeah, what was another fight? Oh, Joaquin Buckley and Chris Curtis. That was another one that everyone thought would be barn burner, fight of the night type thing. That's because Joaquin Buckley always brings war. He throws everything into every strike, every shot. So explosive. He definitely looked undersized at 185 compared to Chris Curtis. Curtis looked like huge. He looked like a beast. I mean, so does Buckley, but just a little smaller. Just a little smaller. I can see him at 70 doing a lot more. 185. He looked undersized to me, and maybe his strikes weren't like had the same impact as Curtis. Every time Curtis landed something, even if it was a stiff jab or a straight left, it seemed like it affected Joaquin Buckley a little bit more. And Buckley was just staying busy. I think that's what his thought process on this strategy wise was, just to stay busy. Don't let Chris Curtis do anything. Just basically be all over him and just constantly throwing strikes. Best defense, good offense type of scenario and or game plan. And it was working for a while. It was just kind of hard. You're going to do that for three rounds without making a mistake against a crisper, cleaner. A lot of times he was throwing a lot more. Buckley was, but Curtis had such a good high guard that he was blocking a lot of that. It was either on the arms, I mean, elbows and stuff like that, which still probably hurts. But I would like to see a little bit more diverse striking from Buckley, or at least honestly a little bit more feints, because it seems like he's all go all the time, and I think that kind of hurts him a little bit because Curtis was able to get his timing down just by, if every single time you see him coming forward, when he's going to strike, then you could kind of get that timing and just counter him. And I think that's what happened with Curtis. It's easier said than done when you got a beast like Joaquin Buckley throwing like heat at you with everything, throwing fastballs at your face. I mean, I think that a couple feints here and there might have opened things up for for Buckley a little bit more, just to get Curtis, because every time he would feint, I would see Curtis bite on it, but he wouldn't make him pay because right after that, he just, like I said, he's all go all the time. So, but yeah, what do you guys think about that? I think Buckley definitely, I think he mentioned on Rogan's podcast he's going to go down to 170. This was his last fight at 85. I think that's the best bet for him. I think he's a little undersized for 85, and he's jacked, but I mean, he's like a superhero type body, but I'm just saying, not a lot of body fat. I think he could probably get down to 70. He don't cut much weight to get to 85, and these guys are just huge. Like Curtis looked huge there. Jack Hermanson, all these guys are just going to be way taller than him. I think 170 could be the better bet for him, and hopefully we'll see. So what do you guys think about that? Buckley at 70, can he do better there? What's next for Chris Curtis? He looked good. I mean, he looked really good. He was rolling with the punches, taking what Buckley had early, and just countered him. Buckley threw a kick, he caught it, countered with the left, sat him down, and just basically hammer fisted, tomahawked him until the referee stopped it. He might actually knock Buckley in and out a couple times, like back up, welcome up, Ben. But yeah, that'll be it for now. I'll see what's up later.